I've dated people where I thought that I could be fully home.
That's the word.
You know, like I dated someone where, you know, I was like, okay, this is the most comfortable I've ever been. Oh my God, look at me walking around with no clothes on and farting when I want to. And I'm like, nigga, I do that regardless. You know, but at a level I was still performing for this person. I was still, you know, oh, you don't think this job is sustainable? Let me go out for this job.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, you don't think this about me? Okay, well, I can do this. Oh, you don't like this part? Well, we can stay home. Like, there's still so much performance in that. So I guess my gauge of relationships is sacrifice. And I feel like I've said this before, is that like, I think I learned to love from my grandmother, because she is the person who's loved me best and longest. She has the most longevity in loving me. So what I think about when I think of love is sacrificing parts of yourself, because there's so much of her that I'm learning now that I'm out of the house and that she doesn't have any kids left in the house that she couldn't be when she was with us, like soft. So what I replicate in that when I fall in love with people is I will shave off parts of myself to accommodate them. And it spans the range. You know, even with like small relationships that are just like situationships and we're just talking, you know, I'm still going to get out of bed at 3 a.m. even though I got to get up at 5, you know, but, and if we're completely in love, I'm still going to leave work to walk to the bus stop to throw you a sandwich that I made because you're out of food, you know, like shit like that. So I've never been in a relationship where I didn't have to perform, which means I've never been in a relationship where I was completely comfortable and at home, which means I don't think it's possible. I'm never going to find love.
I relate to that in that I used to do that. And I think that if I'm actually mindful of it and like honest, I think I've done less and less of it in each relationship. So I've become more and more myself in every relationship. Like, this was a thing that I sacrificed in the last relationship. I really thought I was being myself. And then afterwards, I realized I was sacrificing this one thing. So this next relationship, I'm not going to sacrifice that. And so like building on that in every relationship. So by the time I'm like 65, I'll probably have it down.
Right?
But yeah, I feel like with every new relationship, and there are so many, I'm sacrificing less and less. I would safely say that I'm a completely different person in a relationship now than I was that one time I almost got married. Because of that, and because of being cognizant of that, and like realizing, like, because I think we're socialized in a way, particularly if we don't have healthy relationships modeled for us. I think we're conditioned in a way to believe that that's a part of a healthy relationship. And that's how you make the relationship work, is like sacrifice. And like, but people sort of misframe what sacrifice is. And how much quote unquote work it takes for a relationship. So that like when you come up on like, this is a really difficult thing and we really probably shouldn't be together, you end up misframing it as, oh, but relationships take work. Because that's the thing you've heard. But you haven't actually seen it modeled in a way that's healthy and makes sense, right?
Wow.
So yeah, I think you then begin to think like, and I think that's where I have arguments with people over like sacrifice and compromise versus like compromising your integrity and who you are and what you want and like settling. Because I think a lot of people sort of conflate all of those things. And
I think they do, yeah.
You know? And I mean, it has its payoffs, but like, yes. Was that hydration? Was I know. Who believes in that? Was I right about the name of the wine though? Sure, I was. Our lovely producer, Mark, bringing us in the refreshments. I was right. My memory's trash. I'll take just a little bit more. Just a little bit. Not no water, though.
I know. Who needs water?
I'll take a sip of this water. Thank you.
No, I think that's so real. I know that's, I mean, it speaks to me.
Yeah.
It speaks to me for sure. Like, I'm sorry, I cut you off.
No, it's fine. So I remember even in my first like super serious relationship, you know, both of us came from parents who had been married for many years but who had not been married for that long during our lifetimes.
Oh, wow.
So we both had parents who had gotten divorced, who had been married for like 20 years, but got divorced when we were like 5 to 7 years old.
Oh, wow.
And then hadn't remarried and had like successful, healthy relationships. And so we're both like fumbling through this thing and thinking that one, doing the opposite of what our parents did was like enough to suffice. Like our parents failed in these ways, so now we're going to do this and we're going to be great. And it's like, that ain't enough. But yeah, also just not understanding like the difference. And I think it's murky and it's hard to tell the difference. But yeah, if you end up feeling like I think that's the best description of it. If you end up feeling at the end of the day like you're not, at the end of the day, beginning of the night.
I use that so often now. I do. Shout out to Mealy.
Same.
Shout out to Mealy. If you end up feeling like you're not home and you're not being yourself and you're not comfortable and you're like
that says it all.
Performing. Like my nephew, one of my favorite nephews, he's 6. And as soon as he gets home, he is coming out his shoes, socks, and pants. And he's not trying to hear about you being company and you the reason you got to wear pants. Because honestly, if I got to wear pants around you, you don't need to be here.
Exactly.
Amen.
I'm home.
I'm home.
Yes.
And so if a relationship doesn't feel like I can take off my shoes, socks, and pants.
Yeah.
Then, either that's something that I need to adjust. Period. It's something that I need to adjust. And it's either within myself or this relationship doesn't need to be. But I need to be able to take off my shoes, socks, and pants. Shout out to my nephew.
Yes. You know,
Damn.
it's, I'm sorry.
No, I was just getting an emphatic damn. For
Yeah.
me. I thought about that.
And he knows who he is. His mom listens. He don't listen, obviously, because he's 6. But, I don't share my baby's names on the socials. But shout out to him.
Amen.
He's my only 6-year-old.
No, all of this is actually, that's some real conversation. I am reading, still working through, was it a Crunk Feminist Collective? The book. And I'm just started, I guess, the chapter that deals most explicitly with love and relationships. And the essay, I read it last week for the first time, and I literally was in my office and had to sit, and I started to cry a little bit, because life is life. But it was something about, with the idea of what a feminist relationship is, and what does it mean for a feminist to be in relationships and romantic relationships, and the idea of feminist love and lust and romance, and some of the things that the article got down to at the end of the day was a feminist relationship has to be one where you can speak your needs, where you can say what it is that you want to have happen, especially if it includes pleasure, and it be done, where you can be at the center, you can be the end point of your pleasure practice. And I'll say this, it's an interesting thing to grow up and being socialized as a boy, but then also to be a sissy and to be a femme and to not necessarily get all of those same kinds of messages or get mixed messages, I guess, because when I tell you that was like a revolutionary thing for me, though, like you can actually say what you need. When I tell you, as a 32-year-old man who read this last week and who's had boyfriends and who's had obviously relationships in this life, to sit and be like, you can actually say what it is you want. And like, that's okay. I don't come from that environment. Like I didn't grow up in a house where it was ever safe to say what you wanted or what you needed. In fact, if you said it, that was the quickest way that you were going to get hurt. So it's like, oh, I need this. Well, then guess how I'm going to fuck you up in this particular way right here, right now. So I grew up in an environment where hiding wants and hiding needs was what was necessary to survive. And then me being a Taurus on top of all that, like, I'll talk about your feelings, but ask me about how my day is. Right. Okay, well, what's for dinner? Like, so it's like, it's one of those things. So the idea that I like literally like I can be in a relationship and say, no, this thing does not work for me.
Right.
The idea of being home in a relationship, like all this stuff is as a 32-year-old gay Black man, it's new. And on the one hand, it's sad that I'm 32 and I'm just like learning it.
Right.
But on the other hand, it's also revolutionary because it gets to the point where it's just like, what if, Darryl, what if you were the center of your your pleasure practice?
Yes.
What if you were the center of your like your sex politics?
Right.
Like, what if the purpose of your body was to derive you pleasure and sensation, and not necessarily for someone else's pleasure and sensation? And if they come, then cool. That's a nice little byproduct.
Right.
But the principle of your pleasure is for you.
Yes.
Like, and whether you come, whether you do any of that's your choice, but it's your pleasure.
Right.
And that's some shit.
Absolutely.
That's some shit. And me being 32, I can't imagine I'm the only person who's ever like, I'm the only person who's never, I guess, got that knowledge.
Oh, I'm certain that I have some 70-year-old women in my life that do not listen to this podcast, but who have not reached that. So 2 points about that. One is that, yes, 32, but also like potentially the first third of your life. So like you have plenty of time left to like enact that.
Word.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is, shout out to the 3 Black Femmes book list. I just want to drop that. We'll include the information about that book in the comment section below. Yeah, it's below.
Is it? Okay.
It's below.
All right.
I'm
No?
difficult with Cartesian.
Ooh, Cartesian.
Sorry.
We're going to add that to the glossary, too. It's a book. It wasn't that a book?
Oh, yeah, it's a book. Yeah. The Crunk Feminist Collective. Yeah.
Oh, book list.
Oh,
Nigga,
what did you hear?
I
What'd you
thought that Rhythm said that shout out to the 3 Black Femmes book. I felt like a kid in math class who hadn't been there for a week.
Oh, yeah, the book.
She was like, we got a book?
I ain't going front.
I
but
was mouthing.
I wish y'all could have seen
Speak
her
the blessings.
face.
I was
Speak the blessings.
fucking fused.
And I'm
A Spaces
terrible
produced
at
3 Black Femmes
reading
book.
lips.
But go ahead.
I was
Which
like,
is
damn, y'all know I'm
astounding because-
dissociating, but god damn. I know a nigga dissociated.
Funny
but
story.
shit.
I don't actually hear well, and I spend a good amount of my time like watching people's mouths when they talk.
Same.
Which then makes it fascinating that I actually don't read lips well. So as you were saying that, I was like, I don't know what you're saying.
I also can't read lips. Funny
But yes,
story.
we do have a whole book. Just kidding.
Like, what the fuck, guys? I didn't write any of it. Guys,
You guys didn't include me in the writing
give
of our
me a
book.
chapter.
I'm just going to put it out there. I'm here for a 3BF book.
Yes, y'all go ahead and write that. I'm gonna
What
edit
the
it.
fuck we gonna talk about, yo?
The same thing. The same nonsense
shit we be talking about.
But why not, though? Healing and hoe shit.
Yeah,
Healing and hoe shit, honestly.
And I'll tell you this, though. The reception that I've gotten and continue to get from my friends,
Skeet
shout
on
out to
the
all of
Van Zandt.
you, is real and it's on point. And I feel like the fact that, I missed the last episode because I was, had a sex hangover.
Yeah.
You also didn't miss it. We didn't record without you.
Record.
We
So you
loyal.
didn't miss the episode. You just missed the potential to record.
You just
I missed the potential to record.
I took an $11 Uber for no reason. But it's fine, Darryl. It's fucking fine.
Cash up us $11.
Because Darryl has a sex hangover and didn't fucking show up to the recording session.
I legit, and this was the 2 p.m. Was that the recording time?
Yes.
It was
I was
a 2
in
p.m. recording
practice.
time.
And we were
Come see us next
concerned.
week.
Like, we're
I
like,
was
this is not like
practicing.
Darryl.
It's not, and literally, I rolled over. I was like,
That was some good sleep.
That was some good sleep. I look at my phone. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, and then it's really, I'm sitting here, it's like, how can I actually, like, how can I say it's not an emergency, but not completely divulge the fact that this is a sex hangover?
Niggas knew before you woke up. We knew before you woke up, Darryl. I was like, Darryl got some dick.
And then Darryl was like,
fuck
I'm
asleep.
so sorry. If it's not too late, I can still come. I was like, we bound.
We're home.
Ain't nobody still there.
As I was texting, I was putting on clothes and like half crying. Like,
Let me tell you how I
my friend
left
was like,
my team.
Chill. Go ahead.
I left my team. I was like, okay, guys, run the poems. I have to go record. I'm late. I'll be back. Took an $11 Uber. I get here and Rhythm's like, Darryl's MIA. And I was like, I'm gonna mix this nigga.
Oh yeah, you owe Miriam a fair one.
No, we
No
gotta
worries.
fight.
Yeah.
Me and you. I'm a little drunk too, so it's perfect.
Yes.
And it's Aries season.
Well, perfect. Fighting turns
If
me
it's
on.
helpful
That's
for you
perfect
at
for
all, which is like not relevant at all, I had much more of a disaster of a meeting that followed that.
Oh,
Nice.
Yeah.
I'll show you screenshots later. It was a
love
hot mess.
disasters.
The meeting
Jesus.
actually didn't happen. It was just a series of hot mess screenshots. Anyway,
So that's to say, I'm happy that we're back.
Yeah.
People missed us. Y'all missed us.
Y'all missed us, and we felt
You missed
it.
us? This is the first time I've ever experienced that.
Oh my
Miss
god,
it.
I'm not doing this with you.
Someone missing me.
Oh, I know what I wanted to say. Wow, it's like a rare occasion that I actually remember things.
Memory.
Shout out to my memory. It's funny because people always say like, "Oh, do you smoke a lot of weed?" And I'm like, first of all, no. Second of all, like, why would you ask me that? Third of all, sometimes people have memory issues without weed. Okay.
And fourth of all, you hold it.
Right.
Weed out.
Fifth of all, we matching. What's up?
Match. This 2018. Spark me up. Yo, I have been scamming guys for the past week.
Yes.
Me and my homie, we have literally been scamming guys for weed for the past week and